Hey, Aspen Mountain peeps! Happy Wednesday to you. Had a great morning so far. We did our training this morning for our service over sales. And just love being able to get some training in with the guys, getting our brains thinking really early in the morning. It's a great way to start the day. So I had a question asked to me today. I went into a parts supply house, and I was just trying to get some parts organized and ready for a future job. And I had a question asked to me by one of the people behind the counter. And they said, does it really matter what water heater is installed in your home? And I said, well, elaborate. What do you mean? And the individual said, I had a water heater replaced in my home. I have a trailer house. And they took out a trailer-style water heater and put in a regular house water heater. And I'm wondering, does it really matter? Does it make a difference on what water heater's in your house? And I said, absolutely, especially in this situation. But before we get into that and why, if you're watching on Facebook, type live if you're watching live, and type replay if you're watching replay. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. You'll get notifications of us doing it. We should be getting these posted almost within about 24 hours of when I actually do these live. So obviously follow us. You'll get notifications. It's a good way to learn. I try to educate and teach, but I also show some normal life too. So do the Facebook thing, do the YouTube thing. If you're watching this anywhere else, keep on watching it. We appreciate the support. So getting back to the question that we was asked this morning. If I have a water heater in my trailer house, it's made for a trailer home, a mobile home, is it safe to put a regular house water heater into that trailer? What's the differences? And this is the response I gave. No, it's not right to put a regular house water heater into a trailer house. And the reason is this. It's based on how it breathes its air. The water heater for a home, a regular home, is based on pulling the air from that room. Now, usually that room is a utility room where there's no living space. And sometimes that's a utility room that backs up to a family area where it can pull from, or a hall where it can pull from the hallway space, which isn't considered living. It's considered just dead space. Bedrooms, kitchens, and bathrooms are considered living areas, and they can't be vented into that. So you can't pull fresh air from that. With a trailer house, the way the water heater works is the vent, or the combustion air comes in through the bottom of the water heater. So it breathes from the underneath space, that empty cavity space underneath the trailer. So as it pulls it in, that's where it's breathing from. Now, why don't you put a regular water heater, home water heater, in a trailer? And the answer is very simple. If there is a backdraft, you are now putting that water heater that's a home breathing off of a living space. Most of the mobile homes in our area especially have the water heater in one of the bedrooms. So it's pulling fresh air in from one of those living spaces, which is against the law. It's against code. If it's pulling from underneath, it's safe. It's not pulling from any living space. And this is why it's so important right here. If there's any type of backdraft, the backdraft ventilation is going to backdraft out to where the combustion air is at. So if this is inside a bedroom, carbon monoxide could come back into that bedroom from a backdraft and actually cause a death. Plain and simple. But if that backdraft comes in and it's vented, or its combustion air is in the bottom of that trailer like it's supposed to be, then it'll just go underneath the trailer and dissipate and not hurt anybody. Now, tankless water heaters have been approved to be put inside a trailer home because it can breathe off of that air that's coming in, and there won't be any backdraft because there's no steady pilot light. So when you've got flameage going, it's only when you turn on the faucet. So there's no chance of somebody sleeping in that room and that water heater being kicked on unless somebody else is awake in from another room. But there's no chance of backdraft because it only turns on as you're using it. So it's only breathing air as you're using it. So there's no chance of backdraft blowing in and pushing those fumes into the bedroom. This was a wonderful question. She said, well, why didn't anybody tell me that? And that's when I just kind of just went, well, if you would have hired a professional plumber to do it, they know it. They have to know it. That's part of their job. And then we got into the subject of high altitude water heaters. And we talked about how putting a low altitude water heater in a high altitude situation can cause an explosion of the water heater because it's giving it too much oxygen. And so that creates a larger flame. So when that water heater kicks up, it would be a larger flame and it can cause an explosion. And then we talked about people putting in water heaters themselves and not hiring a professional to do it. And I told them about an experience this last year where a family was killed because the homeowner decided to try to save some money and install a tankless water heater in his own home, and he didn't vent it properly. And the fumes came out from the vent, filled the home, and killed the individual. Killed the individuals. Absolutely came back out and killed the individuals because he didn't vent it properly. He was dumping that air into that carbon monoxide into his living space. So, is it safe to do a regular home water heater in a mobile home? No, it's not. There's a reason that they have them special. Now, they are a little bit more expensive because there's additional venting that has to be done on it. In order to build the combustion air coming in from the basement, or from underneath the, not the basement, underneath the trailer air space, they have to do an additional venting that goes down into that area. So you're paying for additional venting to be built into the water heater. So it's not a typical water heater where it's got a flat bottom and it's breathing from the sides. It's breathing from the bottom. So there's additional venting. So that's why they're more expensive. But it's so important to have the right water heater installed in the right application. Not every house has the right application for a tankless water heater. That's why it's important for the plumber to come out, take a look at what size gas line you got in, kind of figure out how many appliances are burning on that, and see if you can actually have enough gas, if all those appliances are running, to keep a tankless water heater running. But we as professionals have been trained how to do that. And that's why it's so important to have us come out. If you're trying to change out a water heater, to come out, take a look at things, and give you a safe assessment. Because that's basically what it is. We're saving your life. Can you imagine if a homeowner installs his own water heater and doesn't vent it properly, and then it has an issue? Just the other day, I was in a job, and we weren't even looking at the water heater. We were looking at the drains. And I noticed that the venting on the water heater wasn't correct. So I informed the homeowner, hey, this has got a gap right here, and it shouldn't have a gap right here. It should be solid pipe going up through the roof. Would you like me to put some sealant around that so it doesn't backdraft out into your home? Customer was like, yeah, how much more is it going to be? I told him I'd do it for free just because I didn't want to walk away from that home and have it unsafe for him and his family. So it's very important to hire a professional to do even the basic thing as simple as a water heater. And the reason is we're trained on the gas, number one. We're trained on the venting, number two. And we understand why it's so important to have the right water heater for the right application. I thought that was a great question. I thought, you know what? Maybe my customers don't know enough information about that. If you're looking at changing out a water heater and you don't know which water heater to get in your home, give us a call. We'll come out. We'll take a look at it. We can make some options for you and give you an option builder to where you can understand exactly what you need in your home that will be not only good and efficient for your home, but safe for your family as well. You have a wonderful Wednesday. We'll catch you tomorrow.